Assalamu alaikum. Today we will start our first session in the online faculty development program in College of Pharmacy, UQU. And this session will be about a teaching philosophy. This is the first of 5 sessions that we are going to do online this year. So I would like to start with this statement from William Arthur Ward. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, but the great teacher inspires. So today we will talk about what is teaching philosophy and why should every academic write their own teaching philosophy, what to write in your teaching statement, and then I will give an example of my teaching philosophy, and then I will go with you through different teaching philosophies in the pharmacy academia, especially in US colleges of pharmacy. So, what is teaching philosophy? Teaching philosophy is it's like an essay, a narrative essay which reflects an individual's beliefs and value about teaching and learning. It often includes concrete examples of the way in which the individual enacts those beliefs. It discusses the educator identity of how he or she educate other. A teaching philosophy derives from reflection on experiences. Experience means not like a teaching experience, it may be a practice experience, it may be an experience while you were a child teaching, maybe as a parent. So it that's why it forms specific core beliefs related to teaching and learning. So why shall every academic write their own teaching philosophy? A teaching philosophy, it explains to your peers, to your admin, or even to your students your teaching beliefs and practices to support how you deliver your content in a class. For example, if the educator may talk about the ideology of using various teaching strategy used within the classroom, so the peers can read about it and then they can observe you in action. It also give a reflection on your personal teaching practices with other to mentor peers. So year by year, you are growing as a teacher. So your thoughts are changing. How to deal with students are changing. So it's a good practice to read what you have written when you first start teaching and then how you elaborate from this. It's a more focused and enthusiastic about one teaching ability and values. And this is important, it may be needed for promotion and tenure purposes. And this is not here, it's mainly in US colleges, School of Pharmacies as example, along with other teaching award application. These are just a small part of why you should write your own teaching philosophy. If you want to read more, you can read this nice article by May Bown, Developing a Teaching Philosophy in Journal of Effective Teaching. Your teaching portfolio. What should your teaching portfolio contain? It should be reflective. It should be reflective on you, what principles are demonstrated by your work in the classroom. What makes you proud to be a teacher? What lets you know you have done a good job? And what standard do you set for yourself and why? It should be revised year by year. So it's advisable to revise your teaching portfolio and teaching philosophy every year, because teaching style and methods are often change over a person's career. So if you review your philosophy from time to time, update it, and you should make the necessary changes. It should be honest, because this is you, this is what represent you. Whoever will read it will say, yes, this is this teacher. And most importantly, it should be personal. That means you are not writing someone else CV. You are reflecting on yourself. You are writing what you actually believe in. So you should avoid generic statement like everybody deserve a chance to learn, unless you actually think that everybody should have a chance to learn. Then you should make sure that your statement is unique by explaining why you see this principle of equality relevant to education. So, to make it simple for you, avoid making a cliche of your teaching philosophy, because it will be obvious that you didn't put much thoughts into it. This statement is from Holland, Horwitz. It was published in JAMA in 1998. It's a one-page paper about, hey, I'm a teacher too. He is a clinician, he's a researcher, and he teach postgrad and undergrad students. So, and he had a debate with his child about the good way of teaching. So it's a nice statement of, he said, perhaps if we, from time to time, we remember those who have inspired us, try to understand how and why, and put enthusiasm in what, for many of us, has become a thankless task, we will take a step in the right direction of becoming a teacher in the full set sense of the word. So they both, he and his child, acknowledge that how their teacher had an impact on them. Okay, what to write in your teaching statement? So basically, in your teaching statement, you are speaking about yourself. So you should write your teaching, your typical teaching experience. What motivates you to teach? And we know that motivation is intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. You should make sure that the intrinsic motivation is the one that motivates you, that the one that inspires you. If extrinsic motivation is the one that inspires you, then you should try to find a new profession. Extrinsic motivation, like, I'm teaching because the salary here is good. I'm teaching because I will be known in the community. I'm teaching because I want to have authority, and so on. Your opinion about the best way to teach, because each one is different from each other. What is the best way to teach? What is your assessment techniques, and why do you think that these assessment techniques are the best? How do you communicate with your students? And finally, and most importantly, what are the pros and cons of your teaching personality and your teaching style? And this is important because you are reflecting on yourself. Why do you think you are a good teacher, and why you think that your teaching style is good? Because of 1, 2, 3. And what are the areas of improvement that you need to work on? So the right approach. What is the right approach for yourself? The right approach is, you generate your own ideas, you generate your own values and assumptions. You self-examine these ideas and beliefs. You think, why I am a good teacher because I'm doing this. And then you examine these ideas. And then you start by asking simple question. Why do I teach? What do I teach? How do I teach? And how do I measure my own effectiveness? And then you elaborate from this simple question to include more specific question before you mix this all to write your own statement. My teaching philosophy. And this is the link that you can download from my example of teaching philosophy if you like it. So I start my teaching philosophy by a quote from Leo Buscaglia. Leo Buscaglia is a famous professor in the Department of Special Education in University of South Carolina, and he also a motivational speaker. He said, change is the end result of true learning. If you didn't change as a teacher, if your student didn't change, then there is a problem in the learning process. So I start by, and this is my 2018 teaching philosophy, and I'm updating my 2019. So I start by introductory statement, and what I put here, uh, when I work as a community pharmacy, and why I think my working in a community pharmacy when I first start my professional career affected my teaching at the end. How my experience as a teacher changed my teaching personality. And then I move on to what professionally, how I improve myself professionally in the field of teaching and the field of education. And this is so important to consider when you're writing your teaching philosophy, because you are saying that this is my theory, this is my beliefs. So your beliefs, yes, it's coming from your experience, it's coming from your practice, but you should also have some evidence-based approach of your education and your teaching process. And then I put a summary of my teaching style. I try to create a blame-free learning. I make sure that the student own their learning and how I'm doing this. I incorporate technology. I try to establish a friendly environment, and then I explain each one of these style. And lastly, and more importantly, is the area for improvement. You need to acknowledge what you are weak at so that you can learn from your mistake and you can profit from them and be strong to correct them. So this is my teaching philosophy. This is like a brief of it. You can, as I said, you can go for the link and download it. And it's your teaching statement should not be more than 1 to 2 pages at a maximum. Teaching philosophy is published online. There are hundreds of teaching philosophy published online, and in the following link I put 4 or 5 teaching philosophy published online from different pharmacy schools, from University of Wisconsin, University of South Carolina, University of South Dakota, many different teaching philosophy from many different pharmacy academics. Remember, and this is so important, that the teaching philosophy is not a review of your CV, not a review of the courses that you have taught. It is rather how the educator teach the theory, the values, the belief behind those strategies. So your statement need to be short, your statement need to be concrete, so others can easily visualize what one's teaching looks like within a typical classroom setting. These are the references that I have used. I encourage you to read them if you are willing to do your teaching philosophy. And finally, I end with the same quote that I have started with. The mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explain, the superior teacher demonstrate, and the great teacher inspire. Thank you so much.